Howdy y'all, it's Kathy from Rust Paper Scissors, and I wanted to do a tutorial today on how I make my covers for my journals. I like to use the sticky backed velvet. I used some lace on the spine and then the sticky back velvet on the back. And then on the inside, what I really like about this is the product is easy to use, but I was able to use just one piece of the sticky backed velvet, and it made, there are no seams on the book where it closes. So I really like that it's kind of cohesive. You don't have to worry about the seam. But I'm going to demonstrate how I do it, how easy it is to work with. I love this stuff. I use it a lot. It comes in sheets like this. This is what I buy. You can also get it in a roll, a larger size, but this I find is very convenient, and I love to work with it. It cuts like a dream. I cut it with my paper trimmer. I also cut it with the Cricut machine. At Halloween, I cut a lot of like witch hats or different designs, words, letters. I mean, you can cut anything with it. It's just great. So I just wanted to demonstrate how easy it is to work with, and really it's fun. So we're going to this was a Reader's Digest book, and not all Reader's Digest books are the same size. This one just happens to be a little bit taller. So the sticky backed velvet fit this size perfectly, and on this one I had to cut it down. So, but we'll talk about that. But it's really very easy to use. What it's going to take for the book is actually 3 pages of the velvet, 2 for the cover, of the outside cover, and 1 for the inside cover. And what I do is I lay it down and kind of eyeball it, and I just want you to see. It's not. I couldn't do it this way and make a cover, so I have to turn it this way to have some extra length. And then what I'll do is there will be a seam down the center of the spine, and that's what I cover it with the lace. And I know that this is too long because I don't want to turn over that much of the velvet. So I will cut it down, and you can use the little pieces. I make tags out of them for the journals. I added a little rusted washer and brad, and then I make quail tail tabs out of the extra. So there's other things you can do with it. It's, like I say, it's very easy to work with. But this, we're going to do the cover later, but I just wanted to demonstrate that we will cut it down. I'll show you how easy it is to cut. I was filming earlier and I made a mistake, so I had to start over. So I'm a little bit further along on the process. So what you need is your signature, and then I take my spine and I measure how wide it is. Now this was just a gutted book, and this was something I did on the other tape, so you can't see it. But I put Tribeca down the spine and around the spine, so it just strengthens it and kind of cleans up that little edge where you cut out the other books. Another little tip is if you take the measurement of the pages that you gutted, that will tell you the size that your pages should be in your signature, and you know that they'll fit the book. So that's just a little tip. But I take a spine, and this one is almost the length of the book. And I marked the top on both sides. And then what I'm going to do is I took my signatures and I poked my holes, the 3 holes, to do the 3-hole pamphlet stitch. So I used my pokey tool and I just made the holes. And then I took this and I lined it up, and I marked where my holes were, and I marked them on the page. So this page was, I'll show you on this one because I've already done it. It fits the length of the book, or the width of the book, but the height of the book, it was a little longer. So what I did was I cut off about an inch, and so it would fit. You don't have to be exact on the measurement. I measured it, and it was, I think it was 7 5/8. Yeah, 7 5/8, or 7 1/2. So I cut the inside sheet down. And if you're off just a little bit, it's not going to show because you have the rollover from the front cover. So it'll all make sense as we go along. So then I take my sticky backed velvet and I just fold it in half. This is a piece that I've cut that's going to fit in my book. Okay, so I just fold it in half, and then I'm going to put the spine actually on the back. And like I say, I marked the top, and then I put this on here, and I'm going to use my pokey tool, and I've already poked the holes, so I'm just going to line them up. But what I do is I have the spine here. Sometimes I will, yeah, let's just do it right, Kathy. Take a clamp and just clamp it on there where it's supposed to be. And then I take in my holes and go through there, and so you have my holes. So I do all 3 holes. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to flip it over. I'm going to go on and just clamp this so it's easier for me to work with it. Okay, so now I have my holes, and I take my book. I'm going to take some of the wax linen thread, and I'm going to do a 3-hole pamphlet stitch. We've all seen this. I'm just going to show you quickly. I start on the inside because I want my threads to be inside the center of my signature is an envelope. So I want the threads to be hidden inside this envelope because it's going to be a hidden spine. You're not going to see any of the threads. So that's just how I like to do it. So what I do is I find the center and just go through and get through my book. And now I'm going to find the center hole of the velvet, and then it's also going to be the hole of my spine. So I'm going through the velvet and the spine. And then this is just, sometimes on camera it's a little hard to do. Now what I do is I take my tail and I put it under this clamp, and then that holds it while I'm sewing. And then now I may turn the camera off because it may be hard for me to do this, and I get a little nervous on camera, but I'm going to see if I can get through this quickly and easily. You can see how easy it is to, what I'm doing is I'm just finding my hole and going through there. Let's see if I can. It's kind of awkward when you're filming to get it just so, but let's see, I seem to be able to do it. Okay, I hope everybody's having a wonderful day. I'm sorry to be quiet. I don't know how to edit, so I may have to stop the video, and I don't know how to add music because I know sometimes people, play pretty music or speed it up, and I don't know how to speed it up. So y'all may have to speed it up yourselves. And I'm just going to pull that through. What I will do is I will finish this and show you, but I just want you to see that it's going through our signature, that's going to be the cover, the inside cover, and then that's the spine. And what I'll do is I'll go down here, and then I'll turn it back on when I come back up. Just a moment. Okay, so I finished sewing the 3-hole pamphlet stitch, and I've come back through the center here. And what I just want to do is eyeball it and make sure it's pretty well centered on the velvet. It's sewn through, it's pretty taut. I'm going to pull the strings in opposite directions, and that really tightens it up. And then those are pretty tight. And then what we're going to do is we're going to make our knots, and then I'll just cut these strings off. And then that is how and I just do like 3 knots. And then I cut those off, and we'll close this up. I won't do that right now, but we'll close that up. And this is the journal. So what we're going to do is you have the spine, you have your cover page, and then this is the journal. So I'm going to go on and wait till we do this before we put it in the book, because I want to do the front cover. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a piece of the sticky backed velvet, and I'm going to once again measure my book so I get the measurement correctly. And it is 1 7 5/8. So I'm going to, this page is like 12 inches. Okay. So I'm going to want to have velvet that comes over both sides. You're going to want to fold it up both sides. Okay. So what I'm going to want to do is, this book measures 7 5/8. I want to do at least 1 inch on the top and 1 inch on the bottom. So that's 9 5/8. I'm going to go to 10 just to give myself a little extra room. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut this piece of velvet, and I'll cut the other one too. I'll cut both of them at 10 inches. And let's see if we can do that. I have a limited space to work here where I film. And so we're going to put it at 10 inches. And again, I cut on the, I guess the paper side of the velvet, and then this is our extra piece. Now I'm going to cut the other side of the cover. We're going to cut it again at 10. Okay. And that's our extra. I'll just turn them over so you can see it. Okay. So now, what we're going to do, okay, so that's the height of the book. Now, the width of the book. Where did I put my ruler? Okay. I measure it from, I eyeball the center of the book, and I'm going to see if you can see me. But I just try to find the center, and it's about, let's say, 6 1/4 is the center. This whole book is probably 12 1/4. So 6 1/8 would be actually the center. So again, I'm going to want to have some fabric to fold over. So if it's 6 I'm going to say 6 1/4, I'm going to do at least 7 1/4. I'm going to do 7 1/2, just to give me a little extra. So again, we're going to cut this, and we're cutting it, yes, this way, 7 1/2. I'm going to cut it about there. Okay. Okay. Okay, and then this one is going to be, make sure I cut it the right way. Okay, so we're going to cut this at 7.5. Okay. Okay. So I like to turn it over on this side, and I only take the backing off part of the velvet because it's sticky and you don't want to, get it laid down wrong. So I find it's easier if I just pull the backing back and I just expose, that small part. Now I'm trying to find the center of the book, the cover, and I'm also trying to find the center of the height. So I'm just gonna tack it down and see how I did. We'll turn it over, just gonna tack that down because you can glue it yourself with glue, but that looks pretty good. I'm gonna have room here, I'm gonna have enough room here, I'm gonna have room here, and I'm gonna have room here. So that looks pretty good. So what I do is I make sure this is, stuck down, and then I'm gonna pull a little bit and just make sure I get it nice and even. And if you get a wrinkle, you can lift it up, but it usually does very good. So there, we have that front cover done. And now we're gonna fold it over. What I like to do is to take out a little bit of this extra of this square. So I'm going to just angle this a little bit, and then it's not quite so bulky there in the corner. You see how easily it cuts, and I'm just going to kind of do that, and then okay, and then I like to hold it down where it's flat. It's you've gotten it onto the book cover, but you just want to make sure it's down, and I press it down really good. Now I pull this up and I try to pull it kind of tight, and I pull it over and I just pull it down, and then I try to get this little edge tucked in. I don't know if you can see, but you try and tuck in that little edge, and then I'm going to do this end, make sure I pull it tight, and I pull it over. And then I just make sure this edge is tucked in, and now I'm going to pull this side over. And you see how easy it is. It's covered, and that's great. So now we're going to do the back. So this is the front, but it really doesn't matter because now I'm going to take this sheet that I've already cut down, and I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to expose the edge just very lightly. Not lightly, just a little bit. It's funny when you film, things that pop out of your mouth, you don't realize sometimes what you're saying. And so let's see. So I just do a little bit because you don't want the whole sheet exposed because it is sticky, and so I just do that. And then once again, I'm going to eyeball the center. I'm trying to get that close to the edge as I can. Now we're going to cover up this spine with the lace, so it's not really going to matter, but I'm just going to tack it down kind of, and then so you can lift it up, get it as close to the edge as I can, and then we're going to turn it over and we're going to eyeball and see, oh, that's pretty good. It's not exactly the same, but it's not going to matter. This is going to be covered up, but it's good. And so then we just pull this back and we just make sure that you press down on it and you keep the wrinkles out, because it will wrinkle, but like I say, you can lift it up if you need to. And now your front is done, and see, I got it stuck to the counter, but that's okay. Now, again, I'm going to press it down really hard, and then I'm going to, once again, trim this edge right here so it not so bulky when you I hope I'm in frame when I'm doing all this. I'm sorry if I'm not. And I kind of leave a little edge, and then we're going to kind of cut that way. And then now I press down again just to make sure it's done. And we pull that over. I'm going to try and get that little corner tucked in. I'm going to pull this side and get that little corner tucked in. And then we're going to do this edge. And voila, we have our book covered. Now I'm going to cover up the spine because, you know, I don't want to see this. I don't know if you can see it on the camera, but there's the edge, so I don't want to see that. And on the little, this book, I folded some over so it kind of looks like, I don't know what that's called when they have the fibers coming out of the edge of the book, but I liked it folded over. So I'm just going to do some extra. I'm going to do about that much, and then I'm just going to eyeball and do about that much. So this is where I'm going to cut. This is some lace from my wedding dress, and so I love using something personal in my journals. So let's see. The velvet does attract a few little, you know, lint and stuff. You just have to be careful. And then I'm going to eyeball that. I want one of those hanging off and one of those. What I do is I take the lace and I just take a little bit of Fabri-Tac, and I'm on the wrong side, and I'm just going to put dots of the Fabri-Tac on the lace where, you know, it will take glue. And then it's sometimes I have to go back and glue because I'm not using a lot, but I want to get it down. And so just make sure we get this glued down, and may have to go over those little daisies. Sometimes those pop up. Okay, so now I've got my book. I'm going to move this out of the way. I'm going to bring my book in. You may see my head, but I want to find the center of the book. My line may not be at the center, so I want to really try and find the center of the book. So I'm going to use that edge, and I'm going to see, I'm going to have to use more glue on that, but that's okay. I don't like to use a lot, but I do want it to stay. Okay, and then we're going to turn it over, and we'll glue this in. And then that just makes a pretty edge to the cover, I think. And this will be covered up for the most part, but this needs a little bit more glue. Okay, so now we've got our cover done. I may hold that for just a second while we talk. We're going to put our signature in, and this part of the book will be done. Oh, so that's okay. See how it didn't, I'm going to have to redo this because it's not exactly where I want it. And that's why I'm glad I didn't put a lot of glue on there, and I may have to, but I can take those little pieces of glue off. But we're going to re-glue it, and see, now it's in the center. Okay, so that was my bad, but you can see you can fix. Remember, you're in the craft room alone. You can fix a lot of your problems. This kind of wipes up. If you do it while it's a little wet, I can get most of that off. You can cover that up if you have a bad spot with, you know, a picture or some more lace or something, whatever you finish the cover with. Well, I'm glad I checked that before it got too glued on there. So, you know, there's always going to be a surprise. So, and I just pull that a little taut. And now let's close it. And yeah, it looks like we got it better on the center. And I'll have to glue those little edges down, but that's not a problem. But I like that better. So just be careful where you put your lace and just get it. I should have closed the book and measured it before, so that was my mistake. But I'll glue those little edges down, but that's the book. And now we'll add our signature. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to put glue on my my spine here. But first, what I'm going to do is this is the only little tricky part, and I'm going to bend this back, and I'm going to try and pull up a little bit of this backing, if I can get it. I may have to stop the camera, and I'm going to stop the camera in just a second. Okay, I'm going to show you what I'm doing. This part of the spine, I'm just going to pull back, and I'm going to release some of this paper. And again, I may have to turn the camera off, but I want you to see this is the only little tedious part of the process. And what I'm trying to do is just pull this back a little and pull this out from under where my spine is, and then that just opens that up. I'll be able to get most of that off. Okay, and then I'm going to put it down. Now, I'm going to try and just pull some of this, I'm going to just try and pull some of this up. I'm going to turn this off because this is going to be tedious. But what I'm doing is I'm just taking a little bit of this backing off, and then we'll glue it down. Just a moment. Okay. What I did was I took my little utility knife, and I cut the paper backing away just from the spine, because this is what we're going to glue down into our book. And then we'll take the other part off and, you know, attach it to the sides. So what I do is I put my Fabri-Tac, I liberally put it on the strings and all around. And I'm even going to put a little bit in my book just so we have good, it sticks good. And then what you want to do is take your book and you want to find the center. So you're going to kind of fold it and find the center. And then you want to line it up. And then we're going to press it up. But we want to check the sides. Okay, see, this is going to have good coverage, and this side is going to have good coverage. Okay, so we're going to push that spine into the book. Okay. And I I kind of lift it up and push the spine. I push on the spine. I lift this side up a little bit and I push on that to get it in there. I want it in there really good and tight. Okay. Now see this one, I may trim this edge if I can't move it just a little bit. I may trim that edge, but I can move it. I think I got it. Okay. Let's close the book. It looks like we're going to have good. It's going to be good. Get that off. Okay, and that's the back. I might should have used this side as the back. And let's do that. Okay, okay. Since I messed up on the glue on this side, I'm going to change it, and this is going to be the front. Okay, we're going to take this out real quickly because the Fabri-Tac is forgiving, and I'm going to turn it around, and we're going to do it this way. Okay. See, you're alone in the craft room. You can fix your mistakes. I'm going to find the center. I'm going to line it up. And since we hadn't, done the sides and stuff, make sure we're even. The book is going to, I might want to move it just a tad if I can. Make sure I get good. Okay. I may have to glue it again, but I think I've got it. I take this and I just really press it down in there. I take this side and just really press it in there. And see, I'm a little bit off here. I may have to just, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my scissors and just trim that up just a tad, just so it doesn't hang out. And you can't really see it, so you don't know that you trimmed it. Okay. Let me make sure that that's done just right. Okay. So now we've got a good front cover that doesn't have any glue, and I'll try and get these glue spots off the back, and I'll glue it down better to make sure it really glues down properly. And then that's the front. All right, so now we've got our signature glued in. We've pressed it down really good. Make sure it's in there good. Okay, now we're going to peel this side off. And of course, it's not going to come easily. Normally it peels right off, but I kind of got it glued down there on the side. There we go. You just use a little pick. It's not. There we go. So see, now it's going to peel back, and I'm just going to peel it part ways. Just going to peel it, and I'm going to fold it over and make sure I get in that crease. I'm going to fold the crease up. I'm going to make sure I get it glued down. If you want to add Fabri-Tac, you can, but I have found that this usually holds very well. And now we've got that side done. No wrinkles. We've got it where it folds up nice, so I might have to work on that edge and on that, but it's, it's no seam. So I really love that that's just flat and one piece of velvet. And now we're going to do this side. So it looks like it's going to fit just right. Looks like the signature's in the right place. Okay, we're going to try and get this paper pulled up. Hope I'm in frame. Okay. There we go. See, this side was easier. And then, like I say, I just fold it back. And I'm going to make sure that it gets into that crease really good. So I push really hard and get it into that crease. Now we're just going to glue it down. And there you have it. One beautifully covered velvet backed journal. So that was the tutorial for today, and I'll finish gluing down this lace and making sure that it's fits right. That's really all I had for today. I don't know, I had to film this video a couple of times, so I'm not sure if I showed you the product again, but these are just the sheets. I buy them in sheets in different colors, and I really love working with this. If you have any questions or maybe are interested in getting just a sheet of it rather than buying a whole pack, it comes in like sheets of 20, but I use it so much that I love it, so it's not a problem for me. But like I say, I do use the scraps, and I make tiny companion journals, and I cover it with this. It's so easy, so quick. I'll go get one and show you just a second. Okay, these are two examples of little journals that I've made, and it's just a file folder that I covered with a sticky backed velvet, and then I just added the pages, and they come together very quickly, very easy, and I love them. And then this is a larger journal that I made again with a file folder that I covered with the sticky backed velvet, and it just works like a dream. So I would encourage you to try it. It's a lot of fun to work with. It can be forgiving. You can pull it up and lay it back down. You can use Fabri-Tac if you feel like you need a little extra strength, but I really haven't had a problem with it. I want to thank you for your time. I would appreciate it if you liked the video, if it was helpful, if you hit the like button for me, that helps. I'd love it if you would subscribe to my channel, and please leave me a comment, and I hope you have a wonderful day.